What is up, my dudes? It's the Reddit Fairy, and I'm back with r/ChoosingBeggars Ep.3. I've got a mega episode jam-packed with some new and top posts of the month. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and let's get right into it. oMEGA Karen wants a new phone. Posted by user Darius_Kel. Okay, so this just happened to me yesterday, and it stands as the biggest what the fuck moment in my job. Little bit of background. I work as a contracted cell phone technician for a large superstore chain in my country. My job duties include selling/activating phones and assisting guests with technical issues with their phones. Due to me being a private contractor, I don't answer to any management staff or employee for the superstore, and I am essentially my own boss. On top of this, I do have a right to decline service to anyone. However, I never do because I don't want to turn people away just because they are having a bad day. But after what happened today, I'm going to enact my right to do so for any future encounters. So today, I was minding my own business when I was approached by the mythical oMEGA Karen. oMEGA Karen was an elderly woman who had what looked to be about 4 layers of makeup on her face and a haircut so big she looked like she was smuggling a basketball. She explained to me that her phone was not working. Being the ever so helpful person that I am, I got to work in diagnosing the problem. After doing a quick inspection and tinkering around with her phone, I came to the conclusion that the phone was bricked. I informed oMEGA Karen of this revelation. The exchange went a little like this. oMEGA Karen: so what do we do now? Me: well, ma'am, unfortunately the best course of action would be to replace the phone. Luckily, I have the same phone on sale for $49.99. oMEGA Karen: I'm not buying the phone. I bought the phone from here, so I want it exchanged. Me: okay, ma'am, do you have the receipt for the old phone? This is when she went from a nice old lady to oMEGA level Karen. oMEGA Karen: listen here, you stupid piece of shit. I bought this phone almost a year ago. I don't have the receipt. I bought it here and it's now defective. Your company has to honor the guest and replace this broken piece of shit free of charge. I soon realized that this was going to be a shit show, so I decided to try and Tai Chi the situation in an attempt to mitigate damage. Me: okay, ma'am, I understand that you're frustrated, but unfortunately, due to the store's policy, we can't do any exchanges after 30 days of purchase. After the words left my mouth, I realized that I fucked up and she was ready to retaliate. oMEGA Karen: bullshit. You're just trying to do me out of $50. I'm not having that. It's not my fault that it's a cheap piece of shit. If anything, it's your fault it's broken. All my whats were expended after hearing this. She actually was blaming me, a guy she's never seen before, of breaking her phone. Me: ma'am, I'm sorry, but there is honestly nothing the store can do for you. However, because you bought the phone less than a year ago, the warranty should still be replaceable through the carrier warranty. I would be happy to call. She interrupted me by picking up my stapler, raising it to threaten me with it. oMEGA Karen: you will get me a fucking phone right now, or I swear to God I will throw this at your fucking head. Me: ma'am, threatening me is not going to solve your problems. Now, as I was saying, I can call up the carrier and see if they can replace it under their warranty. oMEGA Karen threw the stapler to the ground, breaking it, angrily grabbed her phone and told me to go fuck myself and stormed off. After she left, I picked up the stapler and threw it out. I then continued with the next guest. Now, I wish it all ended here, but unfortunately, God hates me and wanted to prove it. About 5 minutes later, after she stormed off, she returned. But she wasn't alone. oMEGA Karen did what every Karen dreams of doing and got the store manager. And it wasn't just him, but the security guy as well. Store manager. This woman has informed me that you won't assist her with her phone. Mind telling me why? I explained the situation to the store manager, who was looking like he was about to hit me. He then interrupted me by saying, "Store manager, okay, and at what point did you throw a stapler at her?" I was shocked, as well as speechless. Me, I never did that. In fact, she was the one who threatened me with a stapler. oMEGA Karen interrupted me.
Bullshit! You threw a stapler at me, telling me that you were going to choke the life out of me. I want this man arrested for assault.
This security guy approached me. Security guy, is there any way you can back up your story? Me, you can check the cameras. They most likely caught the whole interaction. As soon as I said the word camera, oMEGA Karen went ballistic.
How dare you believe this retarded punk over me? You should feel ashamed of yourself.
Security guard, ma'am, we need to make sure to get the full details of the event so we can better explain it to the authorities. oMEGA Karen,
I don't want to wait for the police. Just fire him and get me someone who can help me.
Security guard, ma'am, you just said that you wanted him arrested. oMEGA Karen,
stop putting words in my mouth, young man. Just fire this piece of shit.
This is when the store manager finally pipes up and tells her the bad news. Store manager, unfortunately, ma'am, he's a private contractor that handles our phones. We can't fire him because he doesn't work for our company. Now, if he did what you said he did, it would be best to get video proof. That way we can escort him off the property. oMEGA Karen relented and agreed to look at the footage. All four of us went to the security room to roll back the tape. As soon as we got to the part where she grabbed the stapler and held it up, oMEGA Karen started screaming.
This is bullshit. All you fuckers are in on it. I'm going to sue you all for tampering with evidence. I will see you all in court.
As she began to walk to the door, she noticed me smiling. I soon regretted doing this. oMEGA Karen smacked me across the face and spat at me. Luckily, security guard heard the slap and quickly subdued her. After a quick call to the cops, she was handcuffed and put in the back of a squad car. The police asked if I wanted to press charges. All it took was one good look at her for me to say yes. Once I got done with the paperwork, the store manager apologized to me for what had happened. He informed me that oMEGA Karen was blacklisted and is to be arrested on site if she is to come back to the store. I'm currently writing this laughing at the whole situation. Fucking Karen. Edit. Here is what her hair looked like and why I called her oMEGA Karen. Let's see. It's the Martian girl from Mars Attacks. Oh my god, that hairstyle. Somebody actually styled their hair like that? Now, like not in a movie? Oh my god. Not a huge deal, but it really upset me. Posted by user Saltwater Gator. I was selling a bunk bed this past week and had it posted at $200. Someone contacted me and asked if I'd go any lower. I told her I'll drop to $120 if you don't want the mattresses, otherwise it stays at $200. She says she wants the mattresses and she comes over the next day. I take her to the room to show the bed and all, and she hands me a $100 bill, saying that's all she could get. She pulled up in a mint condition 2018 F-150, but all she can come up with is half of asking price. I told her to leave. It's not a big deal, but really frustrated me and wasted my time. You know, I don't get this. Like, I've had people before too where are trying to sell something and we agree on a price and they show up with less than what we agreed on, saying that's all they could get. It's like, well, you knew this is what we agreed on. Why would you think I would accept less? Like, no. The only time I sell something online is when I know that it's worth selling and that I know that there is a demand for that item. So I'm sorry, but your little backwards thinking that you can show up with less than what we agreed on is not going to work because I've got other people interested. Like, fuck out of here. Coworker goes from entitled bitch to choosing beggar. Posted by user re293. Hey, let me know if this fits here. It's kind of a cross between entitled bitch and choosing beggar. I have an entitled bitch coworker who recently went full choosy beggar on me. I'm a contract worker at a rather large corporate office. A few months ago, a woman was contracted to another department on the same floor and quickly realized that there are free catered lunches almost every day for individual meetings. She started off just picking through the leftovers that were usually brought to the break room for everyone to enjoy. But after a while, she started going into the meetings themselves and making a plate before they were over. I'm not sure how she was getting away with this. My department was having their yearly planning meeting and had to split into workshops before lunch. I was setting up for lunch. The food had not come yet. When she peeked in the meeting room, I noticed her watching me, and the convo went something like this. Me. Hi, can I help you? Entitled bitch. Is there a meeting in here? Me. Yes, but I think some other meeting rooms are open down the hall. Entitled bitch. Oh, no, I was just curious. So, what are you guys having for lunch? Me. I'm not sure. Mexican, I think. Entitled bitch. Mexican from where? Me. I don't know. They just mentioned Mexican. She then lets out this annoyed sigh, moves closer to the table where I had plasticware sodas and ice laid out. Entitled bitch. What time is lunch? Me. Lunch is right now on the schedule, but I'm not sure when it will actually be here because the meeting has been running behind. Cue another annoyed sigh. Entitled bitch. Well, can I have the soda now? Me. Sorry, this is for those attending the meeting. After they have eaten, we will put out everything upstairs. You're welcome to whatever's left. Entitled bitch. I'd rather get my plate before everyone else upstairs, since I'm asking now. Me. I guess you can come back when we are done at 2 before I take it upstairs. Entitled bitch. Fine, I'll be back then. She then walks out. A few minutes later, the department members return. We all kind of sit and talk, waiting for the food. A few minutes go by. Entitled bitch comes in and grabs a seat right next to the food table. My boss, who doesn't take any shit, approached her and asked if she was there for the meeting. She lies and tells my boss that I told her she could come back in a few minutes when lunch arrived. I quickly informed both of them that I told her to come after the meeting was over. My boss tells her that she is welcome to whatever's left in the break room after the meeting. Entitled bitch asks why she couldn't just have lunch with them. This visibly pissed my boss off. She firmly told her that this was a closed meeting and that she would have to wait until the leftovers were in the kitchen. She scurried off. The food came. We ate, and I assumed this was the end of this. Of course not. After lunch was over, I packed up the considerable amount of leftovers and took them up the stairs. Guess who was literally waiting for me in the break area? As soon as I walked into the kitchen, she started unwrapping food and making her plate, barely allowing me to move the food to the table. Entitled bitch. Are there any Cokes left? Me. Only diet. Entitled bitch. Annoyed sigh. Where is this even from? She is kind of picking through the food she just piled on her plate, taking small hesitant bites like she thought it might be poisoned. Me. It's the name of a nearby Mexican restaurant. Entitled bitch.
Ew, really? That place is terrible. Why didn't they get another nearby Mexican restaurant instead?
Me. No clue. I didn't get to pick. Entitled bitch.
If I knew it was this place, then I wouldn't have waited around.
She then takes a few more small bites before tossing her massive plate into the trash and walking away. I could have launched a Diet Coke at her head, but I like my job, so I told my boss what happened, and she said she was going to speak to the head of Entitled Bitch's department about her behavior. Edit. Wow, thanks for the love and the silver. So first off, EB is r/entitled bitch. I should have been more clear about that. Also, I greatly suspect that she literally just waited in the break room for me to come up with the food because she was just sitting there on her phone when I got there. Again, I have no idea how she's been getting away with this. Update. So my boss did tell her boss, and they both sat down with her to talk about her behavior. My boss wouldn't give me all the details, but she implied that this woman acted like she didn't understand why what she did was inappropriate. She said that at her last job, this was acceptable because everyone was welcome to any food ordered to the office. I severely doubt this. She was told not to disrupt any meeting she was not directly attending and can only take food after the meeting was over. Oh God. Can you imagine working with this woman? But again, it doesn't sound like she does a whole lot of work if she's mostly just waiting in the break room all the time for free food. Brother wants an upgrade to his already free movie ticket. Ends up getting no movie ticket. Posted by user No I'm Dirty Dan 14. A few weeks ago, I bought tickets for It Chapter 2. It was a standard theater choice, no 3D or large-scale format, but the theater had XD options. Edit. XD is basically a larger theater with better sound. You pay about $4 more for a ticket. I decided to be nice and buy me, my friend, my brother, and my dad a ticket. We had good seats all together. Everyone in the party said they're available for the time and date I chose before I bought the tickets. Yesterday, this conversation happened. Brother. Wait, when are we seeing it again? Me. Next Thursday at 7:45. Can you still go? Brother. Yeah. Wait, it's XD, right? Me. No. Brother. Why not? Me. Because it's too expensive. Brother. Just upgrade to XD. It's better. Me. No. I bought you a ticket. You aren't paying. Why are you complaining? Brother. Because I thought we were going to the nicer theater, not a piece of shit regular. Me. So you don't want to go to the theater I picked out? Brother. No. Me. Okay. I proceed to cancel his ticket. Brother. Did you upgrade to XD? Me. Nope. I canceled your ticket because you didn't want to go to a shitty regular theater. Now you can buy your own ticket to the XD theater. Good for you, OP. Brother's a jerk. You want your food? Twice? Posted by user Yuko Romello. English is my first language, and I'm on a PC. If there's any spelling or formatting errors, it's because I'm a dumbass. So, some backstory. I work at a place that sells sandwiches, and we deliver. Today, we were extremely busy during the lunch rush, and as a result, delivery times were a little slow. We were making sandwiches as fast as we could, but there were too many orders. Our in-shop line, customers who come in and order at the counter, was literally out the door. On top of all that, we were understaffed because 2 of our employees had quit. Instead of the 5-man sandwich making crew we should have had, it was 3 people, and one of them was the new guy who started last week. Had to stop and ask what came on every sandwich. Eventually, we just put him on the register so that other experienced employees and I could focus on making the orders. When it finally slowed down, the last few delivery orders were still on like 40-minute wait, which isn't even that crazy for delivery. Domino's often takes twice that when it's busy. A lady comes in, and while she doesn't have the "can I speak to your manager" haircut, she is making a face. Anybody in the service industry knows the face. Total Karen. I know it's gonna be some bullshit right away. Karen.
I ordered a delivery for 3 sandwiches and it never showed up. We're hungry. We've been waiting for an hour.
Perfectly possible. It's been a hectic morning and mistakes happen. Me. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Can you give me the name and address on your order? Karen.
Karen McFakename at 5555 Someplace Drive Northwest.
I pull up the order and have to really put in an effort not to roll my eyes. Me. I see that you placed the order 27 minutes ago. Our driver left with it 5 minutes ago. Karen.
Well, he took too long and I had to leave work to come get it. You guys aren't answering your phones.
Not true, by the way. If we'd stopped answering the phones, the morning wouldn't have been so hectic. Me. Okay, well, we can make you your order for you now and waive your delivery fee since you came to get it.
Karen, what are you going to give me to make this right?
I'm thinking, I said I would give you the food and the delivery fee. What else the hell would you want? Me. Sorry, I'm not authorized to fully comp any meals. She huffs and then stands there at the counter while we make her food, which you're not supposed to do since other people come in to order, and we have a designated spot for picking up completed orders, but whatever. I don't say anything. We give her her food and she leaves. And I text the driver telling him that he can skip that order and move on to the next one since she already came and got it. Story should end there, right? Wrong. 15 minutes later, we get a call asking where the delivery is, and I get their name and address. I was very surprised to hear that it was Karen McFakename at 5555 Someplace Drive Northwest. I double-checked twice. It was the same name and address. Now, at first, I thought that maybe someone else had overheard Karen's order and came to make a fake complaint and get free food. Me. Oh, I'm so sorry. There must have been some sort of mix-up. I just had a woman come in saying that this was her order, so we made her the food and canceled the delivery. Karen screaming.
That was me! You said the delivery driver was on the way! Where is he?
Me. Let me get this straight. You came to pick up the food, and I gave you the money for the delivery back, and gave you the food, but you were still expecting us to deliver it? Again? For free?
Karen. Yes, to make up for me having to leave work and get it.
Me. Miss, you didn't have to come and get your food. You chose to. It was already on its way. If you wanted it delivered, you should have waited for the driver. Karen, no longer screaming. Can I speak to your manager? Oh, you absolute fool. Don't you know? Me. I am the manager. Click. Guess she didn't want to talk to the manager, huh? Oh, it's so good. You know, I used to manage a couple of places and I look a lot younger than I really am. Nobody ever believes me when I tell them how old I am. So when people would want to complain to the manager and I tell them that I am the manager, I'd get a lot of like reverse "I don't work here, lady" moments where they just don't believe me that I'm the manager. They just keep wanting to talk to my manager. Some people are dicks. Choosing Beggar loses it over free clothes, so I end up calling the police. Posted by user Sweenon. The area I live in has no convenient place to donate clothes, so I put up an ad for a bag of free clothes to whoever comes and collects it. The bag had 40 pieces of clothes, a jacket, 4 pairs of shoes, and 2 handbags. so a pretty decent haul. Everything was in good used condition, recently washed, but had some cat hair on it, which was stated in the ad. Some lady, choosing beggar, calls me and wants to come collect it. Then she realized I live about an hour from the city center and asked me to meet there. I replied sure, but would charge 500 KR, $50, since that's what I would make doing 2 hours of work. She gets upset I won't deliver this bag of clothes for free and tries to guilt trip me. I don't budge and say either pick them up or hang up. She whines a bit more, but reluctantly agrees to pick them up. We pick a date and time, and I tell her that the clothes will be waiting in bags by my driveway, so she can just grab them. This is because I didn't want to actually deal with her, and as a single female living alone, I'm reluctant to let strangers into my home. She picks up the clothes, then calls a couple hours later complaining nothing is new and it has cat hair on it. I tell her it was stated in the ad. She also starts complaining that nothing fits her. I tell her the sizes of the clothes were in the ad. She gets really angry and starts telling me if I'm going to give clothes away, they should be good clothes, and it's rude to give away old ones. She tells me that she's going to bring the clothes back, and she wants better ones. I tell her no. She starts yelling, so I hang up. A couple of hours later, I hear someone pounding ballistically at the door. I look through the peephole, and it's Choosing Beggar. She had thrown the clothes all over my yard and was pounding on my door, screaming I had to let her in and give her good clothes. I open a window and tell her if she doesn't leave now, I'm calling the police. She ignores me, so I call the cops. She ends up getting escorted off the property. It was more work for her than it was worth to press any charges. But I asked the police to give her a very stern warning that if she comes back or contacts me, I will press charges. Haven't seen her since. Holy. This is also like borderline entitled bitch too. Like, why do people think that like people trying to get rid of their stuff on like a buy and sell site are they're like stores or something like where you could just pick and choose? Oh, I don't like this, let me in your house so I can pick what I want. Like, no, this isn't a store, bitch. Fuck off. My son and I experienced a choosing beggar in the wild. Posted by user Grace Amidst Calamity. So, no pictures, although in hindsight, it would have added to the story, so you could get a full view of what I had to witness. So I'm in a pretty big grocery store, and they're notorious for never having enough lines open. Not Walmart, although good guess. And my son and I get behind this woman in a motorized cart. She's got a basket that was filled to the brim, and she's slowly taking out one item at a time, very slowly, and grunting like she's having trouble. I tell my 8-year-old son to ask her if she could use his help to empty her basket, trying to teach him to help others. She agreed, and he quickly got everything out, but not before she told him exactly where on the belt to organize everything. While he's doing this, she cleans out her purse full of garbage and receipts, doesn't even turn to look me in the face, but hands it back to me saying, "Would you find a place to throw this away?" I tell her no, and that once she gets closer to the cashier, they have trash cans behind their counter. She wads it all up and then slams it back into her purse. After my son is finished, she is kind enough to offer my son a candy bar for his work. I told her no, it's okay. He can do that kind of stuff without being given something. She tells him to pick something anyway, and then I allow it. She gets up to the cashier, and they know her by name. Uh-oh. And there's even a woman on standby to helping her bag her groceries according to the woman's demands. When she goes to pay, she says the exact amount on her card is $21.36. There isn't enough money on her food card for all the items she had packed into her cart. I feel bad for her, but not that much after her numerous bossy fits she's now had towards the cashiers. She has them backed up for over 20 minutes while she says, "Oh, I thought I had enough.
I thought I had enough. While she rocks back and forth like a crazy for added effect. All the other lanes were about 10 people deep with full carts, and my stuff was now already on this belt. That's why I didn't move. Suddenly, she stops her act and turns and asks my son, "Do you live in this town?" He answers yes. Cue her waving her hand to fan herself and loudly saying how it's so hot and she's got to wait for the bus and asks me, "You wouldn't mind taking me home?" I sternly informed her that no, that will not be happening. She then tries to say she didn't know she was short on money and if my son can return the candy bar. And at that, the other cashier went to the next register, got her scanning gun, and proceeded to scan my items from the other belt. I ask while paying at the other register. I'm willing to give $20 toward her groceries to help out, but only if this isn't something she does often. The cashier gives me that look like, "Please don't," and says this is her third time in that week and that people buy her groceries all the time. She's definitely not short on food. I thank the cashier, bag my own items, and my son, his candy bar, and I all leave from that hot mess. On the way out, the lady who couldn't get out of her cart to get her own groceries out is now standing, telling the cashiers how I'm rude and inconsiderate. Great learning time for my son. Since I told him helping someone is okay, you're not obligated to keep helping them if they're just using people. Good for you, OP. Your son sounds like you're raising him right, so good for you, but what a bitch, man. I hate, this is kind of like that whole Jessica Yaniv thing that's happening. I mean, Jonathan Yaniv, because I know you're a faker. You're such a faker. Anyway, people pretending to be disabled or, and they're not. It's sad. Lady asks for free bottles and gets annoyed when I offer her the wrong one. Posted by user City Psychologist. I used to work in a bar, and one day a choosing beggar lady comes in. She says she works at the theater and was looking for props for a play. She asked if we had any empty liquor bottles we were going to throw away. I did, and I'm nice, so I said yes. I went to grab some gin and vodka bottles from the recycling bin. Choosing beggar. Oh, I was hoping to get something like Johnny Walker bottles. Me. Sorry, we don't have one. Choosing beggar. Yes, you do. It's right there. Points at a full bottle on the shelf. Me. Ma'am, it's still full. That's why it's on the shelf, not the bin. Choosing beggar. Just pour it out. I don't want the other ones. Me. Huh? Choosing beggar. Fine, I'll just go somewhere else. Thanks for nothing. And then she storms out like I just lost a customer. Like, okay? Woman, you weren't even paying. Is this for real? Like, did she... Really? She thought that... What? No, this can't be real. It can't be. I can't believe this is real. I'm sorry. Do you think it's real? Let's see some comments. The comments section has been very quiet lately. Let's hear from you guys. Literal choosing beggar. Posted by user Andrew_Wires. There was this beggar woman in my old neighborhood. I'd give her $1 or $2 sometimes. I felt sorry for her because she had a kid she used to drag around. She got used to it, so she started knocking on my door daily. I was okay with giving her $1 on the street, but knocking on my door was not okay. Every time she knocked, I would decline giving her money until I stopped opening the door altogether. One day, I was returning home and I saw her through the corner of my eye coming towards me. I pretended I didn't see her, opened the door, walked inside, and closed it. She starts knocking on the door aggressively. Me. Hey, what's going on? Choosing beggar. Hey man, I need my money. Look, I'll give you money sometimes on the street when I can spare it, but you can't go knocking on my door. Choosing beggar.
Please, I need it. You're one of the only good guys around here.
Me. Okay, here's $2, but never knock on my door again. Choosing Beggar looks at the $2 disappointed.
What's this? I have to buy medicine for my child.
She always said that. The kid was fine.
I need at least $10.
What, enough for a gram of weed? Me. I paused for a minute. So it's not enough then? Choosing Beggar.
No, I need 10 or more.
Me. Okay, I see. I extended my hand to her and she gave back the $2, probably expecting me handing her a larger bill. I said, okay then, bye, and closed the door. Never gave anything to her again. Edit. Some additional information to answer a few comments below. She wasn't homeless and she had a husband. Don't know much beyond that. Okay, so I read a story. I'm pretty sure I read a story that was almost exactly like this on one of my other videos. It was, I think the guy was outside of a McDonald's. Yep. So did this really happen, or did you just regurgitate somebody else's story? I don't know. Again, that's up for you guys to decide. Do you think this is real or not? Choosing Beggar Relative wants to use my vacation home for free. It's an investment, not a spare home. Posted by user Lucky the Lurker. I have a condo at a resort in a popular vacation spot. I run it as a business. The resort rents it out for me as it's part of their hotel and keeps a percentage. I bought it during the last recession. It was cheap. I'm not rich with extra homes just laying around not being used. It is an extra income and I depend on it because I'm an IT contractor, so I am unemployed for at least a month a year on average. The income is necessary. Importantly, to have it count as a business, not a home, I can't use it for more than a few days a year. This year, I let my sister have all my personal use days as an anniversary gift. In comes a Choosing Beggar relative, who found out from my sister that I let her use the property as a 25th anniversary gift for free. Choosing Beggar relative called me up today to let me know she's taking her family on a vacation and wants to use my condo. I told her she can book it through VRBO, and I gave her a discount code, which is my standard family discount. My family discount basically discounts it to the point that I make nothing from the rental after fees to the resort. I text her a link to the property and tell her how to book with the coupon. She starts asking if it was available, and I told her I didn't know and she'd have to check the VRBO. She asks how much. Again, I didn't know off the top of my head because I don't set the price the resort does based on demand. She starts to get heated and says I'm not being helpful, and I told her I can't do anything myself. If I wanted to use it myself, I'd have to book it the same way. She calls back and tells me it won't let her book. I hop on VRBO and check, and it says it's not available for those dates. One of the days is already booked. She asks if I can cancel it. I said no because I don't manage it and I'd have to pay full price for the person to stay somewhere else in the resort. She's upset, I can tell, but changes the dates. The day that was booked was at the end of her stay. Then she sees the price and calls me back upset that it would be about $2,500 USD. I told her that is the best I can do. She asks why it isn't free, and I said it's a resort, and part of that is $15 US per person per day, and she has 5 people staying for 12 days. That's $900 USD. Then there's the $300 cleaning fee, and I have to pay taxes and fees on the rental, which is most of the rest. She gets mad and asks why she can't use it for free like my sister. She said some choice words about me being greedy and tried to ruin their vacation. I was done at this point and told her straight up that she has to pay because she's a cousin, not my sister. It's not her 25th anniversary, and I didn't have to give you anything since this is the first time she's called in 3 years, and only to ask for a handout. Oh, my dude. Oh, I wish I could say I didn't have relatives like this, but I do. I'm a pretty crafty person by nature, so I'm always trying to keep my hands busy learning how to do different things. Like, I crochet, I make like decals out of vinyl, like I can work on cars, computers, whatever. I do a lot of different things. And there's always somebody that, you know, they don't want anything to do with you on a day-to-day basis, doesn't ask you how you are, couldn't give two shits about you any other time, but the moment they see that, oh, this person is useful, what can I get them to make me for free? Well, I made that mistake with a couple of people, and they still don't have anything to do with me, so I am done with that. I'm no longer making things for people who barely talk to me. If you want me to make you something, you're gonna pay for it. Can I get you anything else? Posted by user _mommer. Rather than donating an item that clearly needs attention in order to be of any use to anyone, I posted this item on Craigslist. One of my responders thinks I'm asking to open a freeloader boutique. My first responder had already picked it up, no questions asked. Used Brother XL 2500 sewing machine. Condition, salvage. Make, manufacturer, Brother. Model name / number, XL 2500. The motor works, but the board got fried by a power surge, so you have to change your stitch pattern by trial and error. The light doesn't go on either. It's likely from the damaged board. Also, the thread spindle and bobbin retaining ring are missing. The missing part is number 1 in the diagram. Probably available at Sewing Machine Warehouse in Northridge. Free for parts, as is. Good morning. I would like to pick up your sewing machine for parts. That machine is too old to replace the missing parts, but I can use some small parts for another machine. Do you have any sewing fabric or working sewing machine for free? Thank you. I prefer to pick up early this morning while it's still cool, before later morning when the holiday starts. Address, cross streets, apartment number or condo number, buzzer number or gate number if needed. Phone number if needed to be buzzed in. Oh my god. This person is seriously delusional. What is with this breed of Karens that think that our houses are stores? Again, what is going on? I'm a college chem tutor trying to help a high schooler in her honors chem class. Mom wants me to drive 45 minutes each way to campus to tutor for an hour. For $10. I was contacted about a week ago about possibly tutoring a high schooler for maybe an hour or 2 per week. I of course said yes because, you know, easy money. Plus, I love chemistry. I was put in contact with the mom, told her my normal availability and how much I charge per hour. She told me that she would get in contact with me, and here's where things go downhill. For those that don't know, the southeastern US is about to get pounded by Hurricane Dorian. My university and all schools in the county have canceled classes for a bit until the hurricane passes. Entitled Mom contacts me today as I am getting things in my own home ready for the hurricane to ask if I could drive 45 minutes each way to campus to tutor her daughter for an hour, for which I would receive $10. I live almost 30 miles away from campus. Like $10 barely covers my gas. I told her that under the circumstances, I can't make it to campus for tutoring, but I'd be happy to meet her once classes start again. But no. Her daughter must be tutored ASAP. So could I meet at a Starbucks? As if that makes it any better. I tell her that I'd be willing to meet at a Starbucks in my town, and she complains that that's too far for her. Like, no shit, lady. Yeah, it's too far. I just replied to her text and told her that it's an exceptionally long drive for me, but stay safe in the storm and talk to you soon. I get the feeling she's gonna complain to someone that I wouldn't meet with her daughter when I said I would be available. And for the record, the Starbucks here won't even be open tomorrow. This reminds me of a video I saw. I think it was Burger King or something. The Burger King caught on fire, and there was a woman in the drive-thru yelling at the employees to either give her her money or her food while the freaking building is on fire. This woman wanted them to go back in and give her either money or food. Like, it's burning. The building is burning, and you want me to go back in. What the fuck? People are so entitled, man.
Selfish bitches.
Choosing Beggars? Posted by user QWERTY-mo-foo. So over the months I've been reading Choosing Beggars, I have decided it has actually made me one. Most of the things posted are either fussy people, plain beggars, or people straight haggling badly. Only about 10% are actually choosing beggars. Now I know this is free entertainment, but post properly, people. You know what, QWERTY-mo-foo? Instead of making this post, you could have posted one of your own. And yet, you decided to waste all of our time. So everybody, thank QWERTY-mo-foo for wasting your time. My own mother is a choosing beggar. Posted by user TheRealJesus69. This happened today, and I'm still in disbelief. Last week, my mother bought a new robotic lawnmower. As I helped her set it up, I figured that I should make her a garage for the lawnmower as a little present. I went home, gathered the materials, and built a rather nice, if I should say so myself, little garage, kinda doghouse style. I decided to paint the garage so it would look a bit nicer and opted for the white paint. I set up the house and tested that it wouldn't interfere with the robot. All good. I then waited in anticipation for her to notice her wonderful little garage. And she did. Oh boy, she noticed, I tell ya. Her first reaction, you might ask? Why did you paint it white? I don't know, I thought it would look nice. It did. You should paint it gray. Excuse me, what? White is stupid, it'll get dirty. In hindsight, she's probably right, but what the fuck? At this point, I'm in absolute and utter disbelief, and getting pretty mad. Well, it's yours now. I made it for you, so you can do whatever you want with it. Go paint it gray if you want. And I kid you not, she had the nerves to tell me, "Don't talk to me like that." Well, what do you even mean? I want you to paint it gray, can't you see? No. I went home to think the situation through, which makes it seem even more fucked up. You know, if she had offered to at least get the paint, I would probably just repaint it for her, but yeah, she is displaying the character traits of a choosing beggar in that situation. Oh, that's too bad. You clearly were trying to do something nice. Why you should never help a beggar. Posted by user Osama Ben Ladle. I get that it is self-explanatory in this sub to not accept any propositions, but I feel it's right to share a quick, cringe story of mine. I made the mistake of being friends with beggars in my later high school years. I always needed people to like me, and like any other teenager with low self-esteem. Since I had no expenses besides gas and insurance to pay, as I had a well-paying job, I could afford to treat myself often. Even if I had the money, it's essentially my choice on what I can do with it. This boy I used to be friends with benefits at one point, would constantly ask for money. Because I was infatuated with him, I had no problems giving him and his friends money. Big mistake. It went from me buying weed and they smoke it all to having to even pay for gas. It was a vulnerable time. I eventually knew what was going on, so I did stop my reckless spending. That did not stop them from asking. My last straw was when I was at work and the boy, his current girlfriend of the time, just friends with the guy at this point, and his friends came into my work sweating. They walked 2 miles apparently to ask for a spare tire. The girlfriend's car broke down off the side of the road. My selfless, naive self saw helplessness, and I did give them my extra tire. All I asked for was for them to give it back. Later on, they never ended up giving it back and would ghost me whenever I messaged them. At one point, they finally agreed to meet at my work on my day off with my boyfriend to give it back. Guess who ditched me? They've been driving on my spare, a new one at that, for 2 months at this time. I told them all to fuck off. I really wanted that tire back, but it was no point. Even after this fiasco, the other boy kept begging that I Venmo him $20 so he can get weed. I never did because I knew I'd never get it back. Despite all of this, I was just as content knowing that these friends were pathetic and incompetent enough to fail in life. I may not have a tire, but I have a job, education, and dignity. Good for you, OP. People like this are just... How do they even get friends in the first place? They must be like narcissists. They have to be. But yes, definitely take comfort in the fact that these people are going to be the ones that fail in their adult years, because I've seen it happen myself. I was bullied extremely in grade school and high school, and now I look back at those people and yeah, they don't have a leg to stand on. Here, this is free as I'm a good neighbor. Posted by user DoomRide007. This happened 2 years ago. I had a neighbor knock on my door. He was all smiles, stated he got tired of people soliciting stuff around our neighborhood. He handed me a wood plaque which stated, "No soliciting." I was impressed. It was an okay sign, something you would do in woodwork. He stated it was for free of charge, and then smiled, saying, "I would like a $20 donation for the plaque." I tossed it back at him and closed the door. One commenter said I would have just told him to read the sign. Oh my god. And then you have people like this that use their greed under the guise of being generous and think, like, what is wrong with this person? Voice student decides, at the end of the lesson, that she didn't learn anything and walks out without paying. Then proceeds to backpedal like crazy once she realizes her mistake. Posted by user Cletus12. I work teaching singers with a fairly well-renowned voice studio in the US. We have a few teachers that work together and collaborate while teaching the same basic technique. We are headed by a prominent industry member who founded our group many years ago and now both teaches and runs the business end of the company. Let's call him Bill. A few weeks ago, I began teaching a new student. We'll call her Shen. Shen is a Chinese tourist, here for a couple of months to study music in the US. She fancies herself a bit of a pop singer and wants to take lessons for the entire duration of her stay. When she showed up for her first lesson, it was immediately apparent that she barely spoke English. I did my best to accommodate, even downloading an app to help translate in order to be more effective on my teaching. She proved to be a very difficult student, energetically, and for the next 4 or 5 lessons, I began to dread her coming, as she was often downright resistant to my instruction, a stance I have never understood. She also never wrote down her lesson times and would frequently show up to my apartment on completely wrong days and times. Add on to this that she was constantly calling me to ask questions, etc., and you have a perfect storm brewing. Well, she showed up again yesterday, Labor Day, when I was not teaching, thinking she had a lesson. I explained to her, in my bathrobe, that I wasn't teaching that day. Instead of immediately leaving, however, she seemed to think I would just teach her anyway, given that she'd shown up. I explained that I couldn't, also clarifying that I didn't have any availability for the rest of the week. After she left, she emailed the studio, asking if any of our other teachers could accommodate her this week, since I was booked. We obliged and scheduled her with another instructor for a lesson this morning. She showed up and took the lesson, but was completely hostile to my colleague the entire time, to the point that he offered to cut the lesson short and prorate the time. She insisted they continue anyway, so they went for another 15 minutes. She then informed him that since she hadn't learned anything, she wouldn't be paying, and left. Naturally, Bill was the first to hear about this. He promptly called her and reamed her out over the phone. Apparently, she hadn't considered that being disrespectful to his employees might reflect poorly on her to a widely known and respected industry professional with countless connections and opportunities. She immediately returned to my colleague's apartment and delivered the money for the lesson, which he accepted graciously. When he began to turn to close the door, she said, "But I have 15 minutes left in my lesson." Stunned, he explained that he currently had another student waiting to continue her lesson and essentially closed the door on her. She then calls Bill and explains that she has paid and now wants the remaining 15 minutes of her lesson. He tells her he would be glad to refund her for the missed 15 minutes, but that we are no longer interested in working with her. She then proceeds to call me directly. I saved her number weeks ago to avoid answering, so I was able to screen it. Half an hour later, however, she shows up at my door begging to not be let go. I had to explain to her once again that our decision was final and that she should look elsewhere for training. That, folks, is how you ruin your expensive 2-month training trip to the US. I have never seen such entitlement in the 7 years I've been teaching. I can only hope this is the end of the story. Edit. So, since this got kind of popular, I figured I'd add in something I forgot. Since I teach out of my apartment, my actual living space, I only invite students in when it's time to start their lessons. This is both for the sake of the previous student and their paid time, and for my sanity, as I might hopefully get a minute or two to center myself between lessons. On rare occasions, however, people walk up to the door and attempt to let themselves in if they're early. I can understand this mistake once, as sometimes people assume it's purely a studio space if they've never been there, mistakenly thinking it's a waiting area. At Shen's first lesson, she attempted to let herself in a full 15 minutes early. I explained to her that, in the future, I would let her in at the beginning of her lessons. She then proceeded to attempt to let herself in at each subsequent lesson, despite being reminded not to each time. Then, when she had her lesson with my colleague, she actually ran into my colleague's partner on his way out the door. He saw her heading to walk straight in, uninvited or announced, and stopped her, reiterating what she had already been told. Once he got in the elevator, she opened the now unlocked door and let herself in, much to my colleague's surprise. You know, I gotta say, out of all the entitled people I have met, I think there are more musicians in that category than other professions. My ex is a musician, and he was the most entitled, narcissistic piece of shit anyone has ever met in their lives. But we won't go there. We're not gonna go there. All right, my dudes, that's all the stories I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this mega episode of r/Choosing Beggars. I think I'm going to start limiting myself to a few different subreddits. I think I'm going to dip more into the darker ones like No Sleep and Let's Not Meet, because it seems like people are more geared towards that for my voice. It seems I'm pretty good at doing the creepy voices. As always, if you like the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification if you want to be notified when I have future videos with content just like this so you never miss one. As always, the links to these stories will be in the description, so head on over to Reddit and show those users some love by giving their posts some upvotes. And while you are in the enchanted land of Reddit, do not forget, my dudes, to stop on over to r/RedditFairy and submit your stories. Don't forget to tag which subreddit you believe they belong to, and you never know, they might just show up in the next video. And also, I've got the link to my profile for Smule, so if you want to sing some karaoke with me, head on over there. Until next time, my dudes, keep on keeping on.